Before we were just sort of talking about, like, I just stuck my phone back here, and you're like, my phone was off to the side, because I joked that I've been doing this for so long that we didn't have phones like to carry around when I started, and you're like, oh, I did, and I do.
Yes, when I started around 14, I had a phone then, and I remember being on set and being like, oh my God, this is such a distraction to the work. And I like put it in my mind. I said, I will never bring my phone to set because I'm too addicted. Like I will be on it the whole time. And I told you I relapsed and I brought my phone on set, and you'll know which one. I'm bad in it. I'm bad in that movie. Really bad. But total phone addict. It's also weird because I don't remember my life before existing online.
Yeah.
Like I truly only have, because I guess I was sort of like first generation of that. I had a MySpace and a live journal at like 10 or 9 or whatever. Like I've always had it's up is what I'm saying.
Well, I was very much an adult by the time the internet came into existence, so I think that's why I personalize everything so much, because it's like, I remember like someone says something to you online and most people go, oh, it's just online. I'm like, yeah, but why would someone just come up and say something mean?
Yeah. No, like my youth was sprinkled with like the trauma of this thing called Honesty Box, where people would just say the worst, most awful things to you, or like it was, online hell and bullying was like, that's just part of growing up.
That's
like,
just the internet.
That's just the internet.
That's just the way it is.
It is.
The phone culture is getting a little much. I literally went into a public restroom the other day and was about to use the restroom, and I heard someone from in the stall go, hello? And I just reflexively went, hello? And then I just heard him go, yeah, so what time are you guys going to get? And it was like, he's literally on the phone in a public, like, shit chatting. I don't know what you call that, but it just was so like, it was so off-putting, because I felt like, well, am I a part of this conversation now?
What about when you get in cabs and the cab drivers are just on the phone the whole time, and it's like, so I'm like, also you've been on the phone for an hour and you've said like 2 words. Like what's going on the other side of it? Like that part, I really want to understand that.
Going off of that, it's people who talk on speakerphone just in public. Like the phone doesn't create a bubble. Oh, I mean, what I mean is how evolved are the folks who...
100%, because it's like, who has time to put it up to their ear? And the manners, what are those? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's awful. I'm awful. I know I'm horrible, but also I'm just sort of doing a lot of things, and I'm on speak. I hate it. I hate it. I hate that I do it. I hate when other people do it. But I've recently, as I was showing you my purse, everything in my purse, I have headphones with a cord, and that's helped me a lot. I hate the AirPods. They fall out. They don't fit in my ear. So this has been a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, I do have them, and my wife is constantly like, my wife is a corded headphone person. And every time I put it in, she's like, hey, you want to irradiating your brain? I'm like, that ship, that radiation ship sailed so long ago.
I know. When I hear that too, I'm like, it's over for me. Like, it's over.
It's done. Like, whatever it is. I remember when flip phones kind of first, or not even flip phones, like those old Nokia phones from the late 90s that were just those, those like little bricks. Not the big comical like 80s yuppie bricks, but like the Nokias in the 90s. And I would just talk on those, and my face would get hot, so you'd pull it away every few seconds just to let it cool off and then put it back on. Like it's already cooked. Like whatever it is already cooked. But I really notice it now with a 4-year-old, because we're just trying not to be on the phone too much around her. But she like if my watch, the Apple Watch is on, she just gravitates towards it in this way that's like, oh shit, you can see that they're just psychologically hypnotic.
Have you read the Anxious Generation, that book? It's an amazing book, and oddly like left me feeling hopeful about technology and children and how you manage it or how you navigate it. As someone with no children, I have zero understanding or experience of navigating that, but I imagine it's really tricky. Like it's kind of the wild, wild west. Like, what do you do, and how do you protect them, but also it's our life, and I don't know.
I've heard of it, yes.
Yeah, it's
but no, I haven't read it, but yes, I've heard of it.
Or you can listen to it too, if you don't know how to read.
Oh man, I didn't want to bring that up yet.
It's all good. Do you have a good memory?
Well, that's
like for lines.
Yes. Yeah. I have a pretty good memory for that.
You.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But what I can't remember is like where did I set something down?
Well, you're a man.
Why that's true. Why did I walk into this room? I know.
Do you put the remote like in your car sometimes? Because my fiance does that, and I'm like, I have never seen such unbelievable skill of putting the remote in the most opposite of my, like he puts them in the fridge. Like the fridge, we'll find it outside by the pool. Like it's crazy.
Is it just because he walks into the room and has it and is like, I'm going to swap this for what's in the fridge? And then
you're going to have to ask him. I can't understand it. I've lived with it for many years, and I'm still trying to figure out how it's possible that the remote ends up where it does. But okay, so you remember your lines, but you put things.
But also like I do the kind of remote thing, but also like as a parent, but at the end of the day, like sometimes when you get busy, you'll just whatever's in your hand, you'll just put in your pocket if you're needed for something. And so at the end of the day, there is this kind of like game show of like, half-eaten waffle and a tissue with boogers in it and the remote, you know, and so it is just this game all the time. But my memory is I think it's pretty good. But how would I know if I was losing it? I really don't know. I mean, honestly, like you have some of those days where you're just like, oh yeah, I'm slipping, it's going, it's all going, it's all good. This is the beginning of the descent.
I'm like so anxious about it. I did that whole like test. I got like my the blood test to see if I'm predisposed to having early onset. Like I'm convinced that there's something, because I have the worst memory ever, I think. But also it's a possibility that it's like a protective defense mechanism or like a survival thing to keep doing this job. Because if I remembered some of this stuff, maybe I'd be like, maybe I'll try something else. Maybe I'll do something else. My sister has a great memory, and she's also a writer, and she's just in general, she's better. But she'll remind me of things. Like I'll like go to work with someone again who, I had a really horrible experience with. I'm like, I'm going to go work with blank. And she's like, why? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I won't remember at all. And she'll have to remind me of my life and my past. But maybe it's a survival thing.
It could be the phone. It could be phone usage.
Oh, come on.
Listen, I'm not saying it's the cause of everything, but it is the cause of everything.
Probably.
I do think it's possible that it would be interesting just as an experiment if you I already think you're not gonna like this. If you put your phone in a safe for like 30 or 60 days.
Yeah, I would love
just because
I did a week without it. I like turned it off. I didn't have I was for 7 days, or actually I think it might have been more, 8 days. I didn't have it at all, not for 1 second. It was lovely. I felt like unbelievable. And I do have parameters and rules. Like I don't sleep with it next to my bed. I have like an app that like when I'm not doing press or I'm not needed for whatever social media stuff, I don't have it on my phone, and I'll like log how many days I've been like sober from my phone, which it's literally I am sober is the app. And it's really funny if I'm at like parties and it'll be like and I'll like have a drink in my hand. I'm like, no, it's not that. It's for the it's for my phone. It's for my phone. So I have tried to implement structure and rules around it, and they've been very helpful. And I would love to lock my phone away for 60 days, but that I haven't done that. I haven't done 60 days.
I don't know that I could do it. I feel like my wife like every other day is just ready to just like throw her phone into the lake and then just be done with it. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I could.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you could. It would be so fun.
There definitely is something in our brains that makes it feel like that this is just something that we have to be doing all the time, especially with work stuff. Honestly, if it wasn't for work, I might actually just put it down and never pick it up again.
I can't say that I believe that I would, but I do hate it. I hate the thing.
I know your mom.
Oh yeah?
Yes, and I ran into.
Where are you from?
Well, I've lived in LA.
No, but where are you from?
Originally?
Yeah.
I grew up in Tennessee. Well, I grew up in Tennessee, and then
the way you said "mom," it sounded like a different accent.
Mom. I know your mom.
Yeah.
You know your mom. We used to come over and drink the soda pop.
I was like, oh my God, you from Minnesota?
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. But your mom was on the podcast like 10 years ago, and she was awesome. And then I would just run into her at things over the years. And at Comic-Con a couple of years ago, I saw your mom and dad sitting like we were at the same hotel, and I wanted to go up, but I just didn't. I don't like to bother people. And I don't know. I always feel, as long as I've been around, and even if I know people really well, I just get so in my head about like, they're eating and they don't want to be, why would I? And then I'm going to be like, hi. And they're going to be like, hi.
Almost like you're overthinking it.
What shit?
Is that what you were getting at?
I should do a show that maybe somehow the underpinning of that is that
how
to.
Yeah.
Do you get nervous talking to people? Do you ever go up to people in public, or do you not bother people?
I think that, of course. What do you mean? I overthink everything always. I think that's a very. I would be surprised if anyone was like, I never overthink going up to people or talking to them.
But there are some people that literally don't have internal monologues. There's no like constant chatter in their brain that's distracting them or having them rethink everything, or the constant looping. Some people literally don't have that.
Like psychopaths?
It's possible.
Serial killers?
Or just people who just are, I don't know, maybe they're more grounded. I do wonder sometimes, like, would it be better that way? Because then you just wouldn't, you think of all the time that you waste, like, oh, I said hi to this person and then they said hi back, but it sounded weird the way they said it. Did I?
But my superpower is that I forget it. So I might overthink it a lot, but I forget it immediately. I'm like, wait, what just happened? I'm like, oh, well, so I probably overthink more in the beginning. And then once it happens, it's over. And I unfortunately have other things to do and I can't remember.
That's kind of a gift, actually.
That's what I'm saying. It's a survival mechanism. I'm convinced.
That is kind of a good survival mechanism to have, because the constant looping is you could just get like frozen with inactivity. But I think that's also why we just go pick up our phones, like to just try to break the chain of the chatter.
Absolutely. Of course. Yeah. But I certainly don't think you ever have to overthink going to say hi to my mother, who is the most friendly.
She's the friendliest.
My mom's the nicest, most friendly, warm. So sweet.
Yeah, and listen, I'm sure people talk to you about your mom endlessly, and you're very gracious. You're very gracious about it. But especially to my generation, I mean, she's iconic. Like,
absolutely, she's iconic to me too. I love her. I feel so grateful that I was put on this earth at the same time as her. Literally through her.
Yeah.
And I learn so much from her every day. She's just a really wonderful person and a wonderful artist and a wonderful mother. And it's such a cool thing to do the same thing as your mom.
I love that there are so many people like your mom who really embrace and understand their sort of, place in the pantheon of pop culture to the rest of us. Like, the fan culture really has exploded in the last 25 years.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people understand it was different in the 1900s, in the before times. The relationship between like sort of like pop culture icons and the public was very separate.
Totally.
And so they didn't, unless you went to like the Comic-Cons were like very, very, very smaller, nerdier things. But now it's just become so much a part of pop culture, and people really do appreciate and understand, like, oh, we have this relationship to our audience, and they
totally. And I've also seen a lot of people who have had, major success either in a TV show or a movie and really resented it. But I have always been so impressed by how my mom has embraced that part of her life and how much joy it's brought people.
Would you tell her that our old pal Chris said hi?
I will.
I really appreciate that.
I will. I'd text her, but my phone is locked away.
Half the podcast, you'll be like, I'm sorry, I just have to.
I got to get a hit.
Yeah, okay.
Just one.
Right, good. Just one. Were you in town? Are you in New York right now for Gail Daughtry premiere?
I've just finished making a movie in Jersey 2 days ago. So I've been here for a couple months. It's called the 99ers, and about the 1999 Women's World Cup. So I've been shooting at all these stadiums, these soccer stadiums that the World Cup is actually happening in now. So that's been really cool. And then I had the Gail Daughtry premiere, And then also I had a junket yesterday for this movie Voicemails for Isabel that's coming out on June 19th.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah, so I'm jumping around to a couple different things.
48 hours ago, Carrie Kenny was sitting in that chair right there.
How great is she?
She's the best.
She's incredible. Have you worked with her before?
Yeah, I've known all the state people for like 30 years.
Of course.
So like Ken Marino and David Wayne, like Ken and David who co-wrote your movie.
Yeah.
I've known all those guys we all worked at MTV together. Like
they're just such a incredible group of people, and I felt so excited to be in the midst and watch them all work. There's nothing I value more than loyalty. I am a Scorpio. I don't know if that means anything to anyone listening or you, but that is my like North Star, loyalty. Like all of my friends I've been friends with for 25 years, I care so much about that. And when I was witness to the kind of like friendship and loyalty that crew has had, I just felt very inspired by that. It requires, as you know, a lot to maintain those types of creative relationships and also stay friends. I just love them all. I think they're incredible. And I loved working with David Wayne. I had a great time. It's such an unbelievably fun film. And the kind of movies that I love to watch, it's rare that I think you get to be in the kinds of things that you like to watch. And this is just like my dream movie.
Like a big summer comedy. It's such a great concept it's one of those concepts for a movie that you're like, how did no one do this before? This is such a great idea for a movie. Yes. Everyone
my version of it is like, how the hell did this get made? Like, it's the most insane idea for a movie ever. When I read the script, I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever read. But how could you ever, like, it's insane. It's like the entire movie the plot of the movie is my character goes to LA to find John Hamm to have sex with him.
Yes.
That's
because your boyfriend or fiance hooks up with his celebrity. There's like the hall pass, basically.
Yes,
the hall pass.
Exactly.
And it cashes in on. And so then I think Carrie plays a psychic who then says what you need to do is to even it out.
John Hamm.
And that's yeah. By the way, I was texting with Hamm about this movie a couple months ago, and he was like, it's like the funniest. He just had amazing things to say about it, that it was incredible.
He's so great in the movie, no surprise. He's just like truly hilarious. And it's what I like Mensch that he was down to do this. The movie exists only because he said yes, you know, and Slattery too, have you ever worked with John Slattery?
I've always wanted to meet John Slattery.
That guy is like a sneaky comedic genius. I had the hardest time working with him.
Because he's super funny?
Yes. It was hard to get through one single scene with him. He made me laugh so hard. And I just love him. I just love him. I love him so much. I tried to work with him on a movie recently afterwards, and I'm going to be actively just on his publicity team from now on.
Is David Wayne's direct? I've never actually, as long as I've known him, I've never actually worked with Dave. Is his directing style like do a written pass and then do an improv pass, or is there like riffing, or is it pretty like?
No, I mean, also we shot this in 21 days.
Oh, wow.
We had no time. So I think that definitely contributed to the like ability to improv a ton, so to speak. But also the script was so tight. There was, of course, like, you know how it is. You do one for you a little bit and you kind of try some different stuff. But for the most part, it stayed pretty true to the script. To me, he's a dream director, like an auteur director, in the sense that he has such a vision of how he wants things to be and how things are going to be, that there's like total trust. Whatever, like even if it didn't make sense to me, even if I didn't necessarily agree with the choice, like I trusted that he has the full picture, and he did, and he does. Like he knows what he's doing. He has a very specific sense of humor, and it works. So it's my dream director to work with. It's just like, he's one of one. He does his thing. No one else can do it.
Do you see yourself directing at some point?
You know, I'm not sure. I could see, yes, I could. I love to produce, but like there's nothing, I just love acting so much, and it's totally, I get to do my favorite thing in the world. It's 100% my dream, and I love acting. So right now it doesn't seem like an aspiration that I'm interested in pursuing, but I've seen how much fulfillment it's given my mother. after being an actress for so many years, to be able to be in control and have agency and also utilize this like insane amount of knowledge and experience and from this business, but on the other side. And that has been very inspiring to me to watch this new chapter of her life unfold. So I wouldn't be surprised if one day that was something that I wanted to pursue, but also at the same time, you know, my mom, my dad, my fiance, they're all directors. Like, it's a lot of bossy people. It's a lot. You know, it's like maybe wait a little on that.
Maybe that.
Yeah.
Or you emerge as like the ultimate boss. Where you're like, no, you stand over there.
They would argue that that's already happened. I think they would all, if they were here, be like, but you're the bossiest, Zoey. And I'd be like, well, I have to be, okay? If I wasn't, I would just sort of be pulled around different directions. But yeah, now that I think about it, I'm probably the bossiest of all of them, unfortunately.
That's okay. Listen, our daughter's 4 and she's constantly like, she's casting my wife and I in scenes.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you think she's going to be a director, an actor, a writer?
It's hard to know like what will stick and then what are just phases, but she's very much a director performer. She likes performing in the scenes, but she'll go, okay, Dad, you're this character, and Mom, you're this. Sometimes there are things that she watches that we have to remember. Like she kept making us reenact the death scene from the Land Before Time, where like the mom dies.
That's really cute.
And she thought it was, and she would tell my wife like, okay, your mother, and my wife would have to get on the floor and go, I love you, Littlefoot, and then do this, and then Jiminy would go, Mother, no. You know, so, and then scene. And now she's getting into like musicals. So I'll hear her in a room just singing songs from Frozen 2 to herself.
That's really
and it's really sweet.
I love that. My mom definitely knew from very, very, very early that she was like, oh, she's an actress. There was sort of no question about that. She was pretty clear. I would cry when I was playing Barbies, and I would, when Ken was down on his luck, and I was really, really like invested in the story and the characters and their relationships. And it must be weird to be a parent and just see that.
What's weird about it is that there are things that they absorb from your personality that they couldn't possibly have seen you do.
Right.
Like,
do you believe in past lives?
Well, I don't know if I believe in past lives, but I definitely believe that maybe there is some sort of a, wait, didn't you ask me that before? But I definitely believe that there is some sort of a cellular knowledge or something that passes down, because I hosted television shows for 30 years. And one day she got up, she had this little drumstick, and she started pretending like she was emceeing a show, and she and my wife and I just introduced each other on a loop for like 35 minutes. She'd go, coming to the stage, Daddy. And I would get up and go, oh, hey, it's really great to be here. Well, you've seen her perform at clubs and colleges, ladies and gentlemen, Mom. And so we just introduced each other on a loop, and it's like, where did she see that? Well, she never saw that.
They have proven that cells do have memory and that there is cellular trauma. I mean, not that that's trauma.
No. The hosting of television shows.
We're going to have to fact check this, but I am pretty certain that has been proven, that they can prove that your cells do remember. That's interesting that you feel like there are things that you have in your life that she does that you're like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, you may not necessarily have seen your mom's work when you were that young, but there was something.
What do you mean? When I was 4 days old, they said, sit down, child, watch our whole IMDb.
You're going to watch the Back to the Future trilogy.
From the very beginning. Here's Space Camp.
Here's Space Camp, which I went to a couple months back. I almost actually sent a photo to your mom of me standing in front of Space Camp. I'm like, this is too dorky. I can't do this. But
don't overthink it.
I did overthink it. I was right there in Huntsville, Alabama. I've seen a lot of the 80s movies.
We didn't actually watch those when we were kids.
No, but there was something about that it's like she recognized that you were doing something that was a part of her. Like, it it still was connected in some way, like that you just started doing that. And would you have done that if she hadn't been a performer? Who knows? Maybe.
Probably not.
But it's still really interesting. Are you because my wife is a past lives. Are you a past lives person?
Yeah. Have you ever read Many Lives, Many Masters?
No.
Oh, you should. If your wife is into that stuff, she'd love that book, or maybe she has read it. It's a total game changer. Have you guys read that book? Any of you? No? Oh my God.
So we got to read Anxious Generation and Past Lives.
Yeah, the girl with an 8th grade education is giving you guys homework.
That's all right.
That's nice.
Who cares?
Yeah. I truly have an 8th grade education. So I think I feel like inadequate and dumb. So I try to keep up. I try to read. But Many Lives, Many Masters is a crazy, it sort of feels when you read it like it's impossible not to believe in, I guess that sounds like you're being brainwashed, but I don't know. I'm curious what you think after you read it.
My mom will send me something on Instagram of like, a 5-year-old playing a concerto on a piano. And she was like, you really don't believe in past lives? I'm like, but I don't know that says, but yeah. So the people around me are like way, way, way in.
What about when people have strokes and they all of a sudden wake up and they're speak different languages, or they come out of comas and they're like, there's too much weird shit that happens that you're like, or those like the prodigy children, like you're saying.
Interdimensional portal, maybe? I don't know. I always need some kind of a sciencey answer. Okay. It was probably just like a parallel. There was some type of string theory that was involved, and there was a parallel universe, and then that energy.
Okay, I like that too. I support that. Whatever works for you.
there is this kind of I notice this movement online of trying to present these types of more traditionally New Age ideas to people who, are just much more. Well, I don't want to say empirical, because I feel like that's arrogant to say. Like, what I consider empirical might not be empirical. Like, if you have had experience in this way, that would be empirical evidence to you. Do you feel like you've seen direct evidence of
past lives,
like a past life, or?
I think yes. When you fall in love, that's what it feels like.
Oh, that's nice. God, that's a really nice answer. That is a really nice answer. Where you feel like you've just had a connection to someone forever.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, love doesn't make sense. When you fall in love and there's like love at first sight, you're like, this doesn't make sense. And it doesn't. And you're right. And so there are tons of other explanations. But to me, the one that fits the best is past lives.
Are you a ghost dude? Or are you a ghost person?
So like 100%, there's a ghost in my room right now. I'm staying at the Chelsea Hotel, and which like, yeah, everyone says it's haunted. And I'm like, okay, guys. And I love ghosts. I have no problem with ghosts. I'm not like afraid of them. And I know that they exist, and that's all good. No issues here. But the one in my room keeps opening up my blinds. Like, I close them. I'm not kidding. Well, I'm there. I'm there. I'll close it. I get into bed. And then like 5 minutes later it goes, I get up, I close it. And so that's been really frustrating.
I love that your relationship with a ghost is like, come on, it's just like a roommate who's like, my name was clearly on the soda, ghost. Why did you take a drink?
That's my relationship to ghosts. I refuse to be afraid of them, because I think that's when bad shit happens. I think if you build a bad relationship to the ghosts, bad shit goes down. So I'm just sort of like, all right, come on, you silly goose egg. Like, enough with that. It's me. It's Zoe. We got no problems with each other. Why, are you a ghost dude?
No, not at all. And my wife and I will watch a lot of ghost shows. And it's actually made me want.
What do you mean a lot of ghost shows?
Ghost shows, like Travel Channel, like Ghost Adventures type shows.
I don't know. I'm not familiar.
There's all sorts of. There's like a whole subculture of ghost shows on cable television. Do you know?
I swear, I've never watched a ghost show.
So a ghost show, by the way, is like one of the most economically brilliant shows on television, because if you understand how television works, you're just like, they will really stretch minutes. And so it'll be so like
funny.
So you imagine, like, just because I've worked in television so much, it's like, okay, so they probably had like a 6, 8, 10 hour day. And so I'm thinking about all the footage their editor is cobbling together. And they, first of all, a lot of them just antagonize the shit out of the ghost. They'll walk in and go, hey, ghosts, I hear you guys like to harass people. Why don't you harass us? And then a door squeaks and they're like, oh my, and then they run. It's like, but you literally just shoved them.
But also, like what I just said, I don't need to watch a ghost show to tell you, don't be mean to the ghosts.
No. Well, yeah, or shove them or get in their invisible faces. But it just like, but the way that they manage to, so like if a door creaks in the background.
Yeah.
it'll be like 2 minutes of that going into commercial. So they'll replay it over and over again. And then coming back from commercial, they'll play it again. It's like, wow, they got 4 minutes of like a 22-minute show. 4 minutes was one door creak. That is economical television.
Totally. I got to get into ghost stuff.
I want to see a ghost show where one partner is weighing and the other one's like, oh, for the love of it, it's a dust particle. It's not a spirit orb.
Yeah. So she does believe in them.
100%.
And you 100% don't.
No. I don't. I want to. She's constantly like, she would love to hear that you've had
also past life. She believes in past lives,
yes.
and you don't.
I have a hard time with it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm not a snob about it. It's just I don't. But I can't definitively say that that's not the case.
Totally.
I just say like, well, I haven't really seen evidence of that, and I don't sense that. But what do I know? I don't know.
Totally. By the way, same. It's just a feeling I have that it's a little suspicious. That I just feel, I'm like, it's too hard to explain. This one's too hard to explain. But I hear you. Maybe I exist between yours and your wife's opinions of past lives.
But that's okay. I mean, like that's totally okay. You know, my wife is very much, you know, like, look, we're energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. And so energy is transferred. So some energy leaves fingerprints. I mean, like, she has a whole walkthrough and I'm like, I don't know if that's exactly how, you know, but I love, you know, she'll say, I know you don't believe this. I go, but I believe in you. Aww. And I love you. So if this is what you believe, then I believe that, you know, I believe that you believe it and I believe that it's real for you, you know, but I just have not had these types of experiences. But I think it's really easy just to be an all or nothing person. And I feel like the older I get, the more I want to be. I feel like the more I know, the less I know, you know, like the more I learn, the less I realize I know. So I just don't like to.
Not about you, about me.
Yeah.
You don't know no.
I don't know anything.
No.
And I don't know what I'm going to say when my daughter asks those questions. Because I don't have answers.
Maybe she'll teach you something.
She might teach me something.
I don't know. It's just, yeah. What do you say? That's a tough one.
I do. There are some things that involve her that do raise an eyebrow in terms of like what exists if there's a spiritual realm. My wife's dad passed away in 2013, and we were driving by. This totally happened. We were driving by the cemetery where he's buried. And as we were driving by, this was a year and a half ago. She was 3. She said, "Oh, my grandpa's in there." And we were like, I'm sorry, what? What was that?
That's crazy.
And so
that's crazy.
Yes. I don't think had ever seen a cemetery, didn't have any concept of life and death in that way. And when we're staying in her mom's house, she'll casually say, blah, 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 blah. Well, Grandpa Bernie told me blah, blah, blah. And we're like, excuse me? You know, well, of course, I've seen enough horror movies to know it's a demon in disguise. But I would love to believe that that's true, because she is having that experience, and whether or not it's her childhood imagination, I go, but how did the information get in there to fuel the imaginative part? So that has been something that's kind of like, oh, interesting, you know.
That's a crazy story.
It is.
I was filming in a movie called Nouvelle Vague in Paris 2 years ago, and I was playing a real person. I was playing Jean Seberg, and we were visiting. It's not as cool as your daughter's story, but we were visiting. It was pouring rain. We weren't going to get the day. Me and the director, Richard Linklater, realized that the cemetery where Jean Seberg was buried was right next door. It's pouring rain. We get our umbrella. We go visit. We're like right when we walk, like walking to her grave. Literally, my feet touch like 1 foot in front of the grave, and the sun like comes out like shining so bright. It was supposed to rain all day long, and it was one of the weirdest moments of my life. Very powerful. Richard Linklater always says, he's like, I don't believe in that stuff, but it did happen, and we were able to get the rest of the day. It's always about getting the rest of the day, but it was very like, what is happening? How is this possible? And it felt like not a coincidence. It felt like she was like gracing us with the sun.
See, I love hearing a story like that, and as cynical as I can be about things, things like that sort of give me hope that it's like, oh, we're not just, you know, we're not just these meat bags walking around that just, disintegrate into the dirt and that's it. Like, I love the idea. I would love to wrap myself around that idea because I just find it so comforting. It's not that it's discomforting the way that I think, but it's also just not. I mean, I guess there's a comfort in like, well, someday it won't matter, but like, which is kind of very stoic, but I do, I guess in as much as I can believe that I would, and I would say, I'm not going to be the kind of parent who's like, there's no ghost. I don't smoke, but that for this character, there's no ghost. What are you talking about? I'm going to be like, yeah, he loves you. Of course, his love is here. He's with you. He's always with you. I want her to have that, moving forward. So as a parent, I might skew more on my wife's side just to give her a more sense of universal wonder than I have.
I also just totally think kids are like creepy in the best way. They have so much more access to things that we don't as adults. I just do. It's
because they're not shut off yet.
Right.
They're still very open to the world and they don't have judgments. We teach them judgments. The world teaches them judgments. This is real. That's not real.
Because you have a good memory. Do you remember being a kid?
I do.
You do. And you have like, what is your earliest memory of being a kid?
I can tell you exactly.
Are you one of those people who's like, I remember being born? No, you don't.
I'm not like a Mary Lou Henner who can be like, in 1974 on Tuesday, October 3rd, I was wearing a checkered blouse. Like there's some people that have that like insane memory where they literally can recall every day of their lives. But I do remember I was touring stand-up I was born in Louisville, Kentucky. I was touring through Louisville and I hadn't been there in decades. And so my mom, I had memories of where I lived when we moved away when I was like 3 or 4 or 5. And so my mom was directing me. I was holding up on FaceTime. My mom was directing me and driving around. And we got to the place where I lived when I was a kid. And I fully remember. It blew my brain out the side of my ear that from at the time I was my daughter's age, I remember I could tell you what the entire interior of our home looked like. And so, yeah, I remember it. I remember the carpeting, where the doors were, the kitchen, everything. Do you not? Do you remember?
No, absolutely not. I don't remember any of it. No.
Really?
No.
How far back do you remember?
Like yesterday.
I mean, I walked in here.
Yeah.
I must
what
have
happened
because
after that? I showed you my purse and then it's all a blur.
Yeah.
But do you remember like feeling like a little kid and a specific
yes
the wonders and joys and do you remember those things?
I do, and what I can tell you is that being a parent, it all comes back to you even more because
so cool.
There is a vicarious proximity that you have when they're experiencing things like when we took her to Disneyland for the first time, or she wants to watch a movie and over and again. And I'm like, I remember that. And so it reinstills you with that sense of wonder because it's almost like there's this little external memory stick that is loading up all these programs that you experienced when you were younger. So if I wasn't living it every day, maybe not so much, but it definitely reignites all those, oh yeah, that's right. I do remember this. And I do remember. And so it also makes you a lot more patient with how, with watching stuff over and over again, or just like having to repeat things 150 times, like, cause you remember like, oh yeah, I remember what that was like when I remember, like it's all in there somewhere. And it is like the kids just sort of unlock that side.
I love that.
I'm glad.
That's beautiful.
It is really nice. It is really nice. You have a niece or a nephew?
Yeah,
niece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My sister had a baby and she's the love of all of our lives.
How old is the niece now?
She's must be 14 months, I think. 15 months. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it really is. All of a sudden, holidays and dinners and being together it makes it all so much more fun and better. And you understand. You're like, oh, I get it. I get tradition. I get all these things that start to be like, oh, what do we do? Really? We're going to do this again? Buy presents for, what is this? Like the tree and Christmas. And then all of a sudden there's this little kid and you're like, I will do anything for you.
Yeah.
I want to make you happy. I love you more than anything. And she's so funny. And it's been so fun watching my sister become a mother I love what she said. She's like, yes, I feel like it's hard. Yes, it's hard. And I feel like I heard so much of how hard it's going to be and how exhausting it is, but I don't feel like I heard a lot about how fun it is. Like I have so much fun being a parent and I did not expect that to be the case. It's not dissimilar to what you were saying earlier. And she's just like an amazing mom. And it's crazy to see my sister be a mother.
That's really lovely. I think what happens is, I've talked to a lot of other parents about this, is just, unfortunately, there are certain parents who will try to haze the shit out of you about parenting. Like, well, how old are they? 14 months. You just wait till they're like, and it's like, why are you doing this? Yeah. And so I hate that. What do
you think that is? Because they just want to be like, know more than you. So they want to be like, I hate that in general.
It's kind of a hazing thing because they went through it. And so they're just kind of like, and you just wait. And it's like, yeah, but I'm not sure that's necessary. And so I did have a parent who was a friend of mine who their daughter was a lot older, and she warned me of that up top. Like, they're going to scare the shit out of you. Don't listen to them. It's wonderful. Yes, of course there are challenges along the way. Yes, when they do start walking around, they're going to start climbing. And yes, there is a daily stress program that runs in your brain, but it's wrapped around all these other things that are so worth it. Just like a type of everlasting joy that I hadn't experienced before. That, I can't say it's that way for everyone, but that's how it is for us. And so, I do like to remind parents that, yes, it is wonderful. And you don't have to just focus on all the parts that are like, oh boy, you just wait. Because people will tell you now, like, oh, 4, yeah, I love that age. Wait till they're a teenager. I'm like, I'm going to, because it's a decade. Why are you doing this to me? So, we just, and the other great thing is that it just gets you to live very presently, very much in the moment.
Yeah.
Because you just can't, your brain can't drift too far off its axis, because you really have to be present to take care of this little person.
Yeah, no, it's the best. She's hilarious. Her first word was baby, which is so funny. And she thinks baby means like cute, because people would be like, oh, look at your baby. So if she likes something, she calls it a baby. If she likes you in the moment, you're like on her good side. And she's like, baby.
Oh, like, that's really sweet. Really is she funny. Like fully talking now?
No,
14 months?
Not yet. She's like putting things together. I mean, she's running, which is a whole other thing. Just wait till they start running. No.
You mean running track, right? She's doing cross country and a lot of,
Yeah. Do you have siblings?
I have step siblings and a half, but I don't. I grew up as an only child.
I was going to say, were you an uncle before you were a parent?
No, I mean, yes, to my extended family, but we don't live in the same city. So I wasn't really around, so I never really had any experience like this before, but it is really great.
It really is. They're the best.
But the other thing too, is that if you're an overthinker, which if I'm piecing things together correctly, I think you might be, it makes you very aware of how much you're doing it, because you're like, I don't want to pass this down. Like I don't want my kid to be neurotic, because I get neurotic about things. Are there things that you do to kind of blunt the overthinking, or I
mean, I have like a lot of structures and a lot of things in place to stop myself from, because I guess it's interesting. You using the word overthink is like, to me, what I think of when I think of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And so like for me, the word is not overthinking, it's anxiety.
Yes.
And anxiety for me is like an amazing, lifelong, wonderful relationship that I've had. And I say wonderful because I really do think that it has been my superpower. It has been my best friend and of course my enemy. But I think it's the reason that I started working at such a young age. It's why I have such drive. It's why I have ambition. It's why I am a good friend. It's why but I've had to harness it and not look at it like my enemy and look at it like my friend. And I also feel like I had to reframe a lot of my relationship to my anxiety, in that I spent so much of my life identifying as an anxious person. Like that was my identity. I'd be like, yep, I'm an anxious person. And it's not like I woke up one day and I'm like, I'm not anxious anymore. I just was like, whoa, wait, I'm so attached to this idea of being an anxious person. What does that even mean? And I kind of had to break down all that like all encompassing like huge monster of anxiety, almost like I had like a bunch of barnacles all over my body, and I had to like pull each one off and be like, where'd I get that? And is that my mom's? Is that my sister's? Is that my dad's? Is that mine? Like, is that from childhood? Like, I just had to sort of like really break down what are all these things that I think are anxiety that might be other things. So I appreciate the like gift of overthinking and anxiety, and I welcome it, and I try not to like, it's like the balance thing of like, it's not that I am anxious, I have anxiety. Like,
oh, that's a great way to think of it. So it's not your identity, it's just a thing that is with you.
It's like, I'm not like trying to be like, it doesn't exist, but I'm also not trying to be like, this is me and that's it. You know, I'm like, okay, it's here, like, let it exist, let it be there. But like, what can I do to move forward and not be in like a state of panic or anxiety or overthinking? But yeah, I mean, I probably should have been medicated my whole life, but I wasn't with like anxiety, OCD, like not depression, but maybe that's coming.
But just to hear you say that is really great. And I think very helpful for people too, because they might, when I say overthinking, I do mean getting into the thought spiraling, which leads to anxiety, but the idea of befriending it, which is another recurring theme that I've picked up talking to you the last hour, was same with the ghost. Like, well, I just made friends with it. You know what I mean? Like,
it's funny. Yeah.
Just like the anxiety, I just made friends with it. Like that idea of sort of.
It felt very amorphous to me when I was younger. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No, please.
interrupt you. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me because it's like, this thing is bad. It's causing me problems. It has to go away. Yeah. But it's like, that's not how. You can't, it didn't work for me that way. You know, I had to like develop a better relationship to it and find what good it did for me. Like my anxiety is the reason that the second my alarm goes off in the morning, I'm like, let's go. It's a great day. You know, like my Aura Ring thinks I'm having a heart attack every day. Like my heart rate goes like, you know, and that means I wake up and I'm happy and let's go. And I got a lot of shit to do. And I'm, you know, I have a lot of energy and I have a lot of stuff I want, you know, and that's a good thing. Yeah. That's not a bad thing, you know? And then there's tons of bad things that come with having, being an anxious person. I think in general, like every single day when something feels impossible to do or something feels scary or like I don't want to do it, I just like, I probably think about it like every day is this memory of my mom. Really, it was tough love, but I respond well to tough love. And I was always a very anxious child. You know, in preschool, this is like so LA, but preschool, my mom came into the principal's office or whatever it was in preschool, and they were like, we need to put Zoey on meds and she needs to go to therapy. And my mom was like, what do you mean? She's like 4. She just is bored of playing with this Play-Doh every day. She was like, they were like, no. And they were like, she's really, you know, my mom was like, no. And I was like, okay. And she put me in yoga to learn how to like breathe. I had panic attacks when I was younger. I would hold my breath and faint. I was born anxious. Like before I could speak, I had a relationship to like, if I was scared, like disappear, like pass out. Mm-hmm. So in the first grade, I was having some sort of episode and freaking out about a math test. And my mom just was like, Zoey, do you want a big life? Do you want all these things that you say you want? I had expressed that I want to be an actress and I want to be a this and I want to do that and I want to. And she was like, do you want all these things? And I'm like, yes, of course I want all these things. She's like, you're going to have to learn how to get through this math test. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, it gets a lot harder. And it was so helpful for me to hear that. And I feel that way every day. I go, do I look at my life and I go, I want my life to get bigger and more expansive and more love and more abundance, like, and more friendships and more, and all these things. Like, do I want those things? I'm like, I got to get through this. Yeah. And it's not even just about like getting through it. It's like enjoying it and embracing it and not like just being like white knuckling it, getting through it. So it really made a mark for me. Of like, get through the math test, Zoey. It's not that hard. Yeah, it wasn't that hard, but in the moment it felt impossible. Yes. And it wasn't invalidating. It was just like, dude, you can either live in this cycle of like, I can't do it. And it happens every day, a version of that, you know? And I just, in my head, I hear her be like, okay.
But to some degree, you were in a situation where you felt powerless and your mother gave you she gave you the gift of making a choice, being in control of it. Like,
and your life is your responsibility.
And also having some power over it. Oh, I'm going to choose to get through this because I want all these other things and like a goal, which is a beautiful way to think about it. And, look, I love talking about this stuff because I always just feel like if one person out there just hears, oh shit, this doesn't define me, and if I can just find a way to coexist with this and make it my friend, then that can have the same profound effect that, that moment had for you. We
all feel this way in some way, shape, or form. I think that it feels sometimes insurmountable and hard and impossible, and you can get through it. You can do it. But I responded well in that moment to tough love, and I still do. I really do. So I don't know. I don't know if that's...
It's incredibly helpful. It's helpful because I've never heard anyone frame it quite like that before. And I do think it's very easy to get into our heads of like, especially in our sort of quick fix culture, it's like, well, I just got to shut this off. And it's like, well, but maybe you can find ways to help to make it useful. And maybe, in some paths, there is a path with medication, and in other paths, it is asking yourself these different questions, or just like...
I also think in general with all these things, it's not one thing. It's
never
you hit it
thing.
A million different, you know what I mean? It's like of course I'm in therapy. I of course have this other thing. I'm doing my mother, my partner, there's all these different people and resources that I have to speak. I journal, I do all these, whatever, I don't know. I just think in general, you have to like do a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
to get to a place of feeling.
Well, just okay and present. And, like I wore this little flower because when I was leaving the house, my daughter was like, Dad, take this flower to work. She has this little basket of plastic flowers, and she likes to fill them in a bowl and throw them up in the air, and then fill the bowl again and throw them up in the air. And she gave me this little flower, and I was like, oh my God, not only is it sweet and cool, it literally matches my outfit.
It looks amazing.
And
she styled you.
She styled me. So these little things kind of help me feel present because I'm like, oh, she's with me, or, and so those are some of the ways that I navigate. It's like, I need to be better for her,
so sweet.
That's kind of how I do it, since she was born, or I try anyway. But I just think all of these types of things are helpful. If like people hear even one simple thing, it could completely just like shift their reality if they're ready to hear it.
I also had like a huge breakthrough in my life when I was like introduced to this version of meditation. It's called a quad check, which is like, it's a guided meditation of connecting your, like, you listen and you talk to your body, your mind, your emotions, and then your spirit, and like kind of all of them separately, and then understand, where they're sort of fighting against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never thought about it in that way, that all these different things are different parts of us that sometimes are fighting each other or in cahoots with each other. And that was a major, major breakthrough for me in terms of being an overthinker or a generally anxious human being.
So that's the other thing. And then I'll stop talking about being a parent. But the other thing is that you notice a very distilled version of what we do as adults when you have a child, where it's like, we'll take her to, like, we went to an aquarium yesterday, and at a certain point she just starts getting like, and it's like she's overstimulated.
Yeah.
Never knew before parenting that could be a thing. And then you realize as an adult that can happen, but you think of it as uniquely you and not just this thing that happens where it's like, you're overstimulated. You need to take a breath. You need to have some water. You might be dehydrated. You need to have a little food. And so,
are you thirsty? Are you hungry? Are you tired?
Yes, yes. Have you just been trying to cram so much into your brain, so much experientially, that you're just like fried? And a lot of the time the answer is yes. And if you can remind yourself the same way that you remind a child, like, oh, we just need to go have some quiet time now with her, that you could do that as yourself, with yourself, that's also really helpful. But these are all like wonderful techniques. And like I said, I just hope that, anyone watching, if they find themselves in a place where they feel a little stuck with this, that they can take something away from it. And I honestly just appreciate you being here and sharing your time. And again, please tell your parents I said hi.
I will. And I'll also tell the ghost.
Please tell
you
the
don't
ghost
believe in it.
Yeah.
And then it'll come to you.
Stop.
Open your blinds as well.
If you stop playing with the curtain, Chris will believe in you. Could you please just stop shutting the...
I'm going to send you a video of that later. Yeah, just yelling at
it. Oh my God, it really... All right. He's just like this begrudging New York ghost. Whatever. I don't I don't give a shit. And then it just like slowly closes.
No, this is so wonderful. Thank you so much for having
thank you
me.
so much. It's funny. It's like everyone who's been on the show so far, I've known for years. You're the only person that I've never met.
No way.
And it was just such a great
Maybe we knew each other in a past life.
We knew each other in a past life.
How do you know?
Oh my God.
How do you know that we haven't met in a past life? I'm just saying.
We did a podcast like in the Crusade. We did a podcast in the Middle Ages.